was shared with us by Volkswagen in a presentation that sedans contribute about 11 to 12% of the total passenger car sales in India. And the more interesting figure is that of that 11 to 12%, 26% was contributed by the premium mid-size category in the sedan space. And what is even more interesting is that Volkswagen expects this segment to expand to about 36-37% in the next couple of years. And it is banking very, very heavily on the Virtus that you see behind me. What exactly is the Virtus like? How does it drive? And what kind of a package it is what we are trying to find out in this drive report. While a lot of you may think that there is hardly any sense in launching a sedan or a saloon in India when SUVs are all the craze. And this is not just in India, it's a global phenomenon. Everybody seems to be buying just crossovers and SUVs. But a sedan is somewhat special in a lot of ways. You sit low and you feel that dynamism because you feel more connected to the road. And it is a lot more intimate than, say, any crossover or an SUV can be. And the latest to hit the market is this one, the Virtus. We are driving the 1.5 litre version right now, and it is absolutely wonderful because it's not really all that often that a car like this comes around. You have 150 horsepower from this 1.5 litre 4-pot engine, and you get 250 Newton meter, very healthy figures. This just goes to show how much we have moved in terms of development, and it's not only outright power. This one is also down on emissions. It's more flexible when it comes to power delivery. And when you give it the beans, it absolutely plasters a big smile on your face. It has paddle shifters and the drive is directed to the wheels via a DSG gearbox, 7 speeds, and it's all very slick. It is very responsive to your inputs. So yes, in terms of all the engine and gearbox kind of performance, this is definitely something more for enthusiasts. And the rigidity of this car itself is so high that Volkswagen did not really have to fiddle around with making the suspension too hard. They've actually played very nicely, pretty much like what Skoda has done, and kept the damping a little soft because that kind of gives you a slightly more roll into corners. It kind of makes you feel that you know what exactly is going on underneath you. And I'm not going to say that it doesn't really corner in a very confident way. In fact, it's a phenomenal car to drive around corners as well. You will feel the suspension overall to be slightly on the stiffer side, and that's an inherent personality of any German car. Volkswagen, Audi, BMW. In fact, when you go to the Czech Republic, you have Skoda also doing the same thing. And that's typically European, but it absorbs the bumps in a very nice way, and at the same time gives you just enough amount of roll to make you feel like you know what is going on with the car. And it just makes you feel connected a bit more, and that's a very, very good thing. Steering is very light when you're just going about at city speeds like we are doing right now. But it does not feel like it lacks any energy per se. And as you pick up speed, of course, you know, it kind of gets more communicative and you have more control over it. I would have liked the steering wheel to be just very slightly smaller. That would have given it a little bit more sporty feel, I believe. The power delivery of the engine is also pretty decent. It's quite linear when you are slow and steady. But the moment you put your foot down, it just leaps, and it knows that it has to kick down and just supply that reserve of power that it has. So it kind of reads your mind in that way. In terms of space, comfort and fit and finish, well, it's a Volkswagen and it is known to do a decent job in all these departments. Space is actually very, very good. It's the biggest car in the segment, and when you sit in the back, it just reflects very nicely. You have acres of legroom. Even if you're tall, two people one behind the other is not going to be a problem at all. And the seats are fairly nicely designed. They are well cushioned, and now they are ventilated. So in the peak of summer, like we are driving in right now, you just press the button over here and there is going to be cool air being blown into your back. So that's a great addition by Volkswagen, and it's all thanks to Koreans, Hyundai and Kia, because they have shifted the game of giving features to such a level that every manufacturer is now looking at giving that level of features in their products, and that's a great thing for the industry as a whole. Connectivity options, you have everything. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth connectivity, and then you can also have a navigation set for you that is in this infotainment setup itself, or else just plug your phone and you'll have the Google Maps or whatever maps you use ready to be displayed on the screen itself. So yeah, there is nothing missing over here, but at the same time nothing that is segment defining. So yeah, you get everything. All the connectivity options, every conceivable option to play your music or stream whatever you want to. You have a very nice and sharp looking display right in front of the driver. The views can change and you have 3 different setups. So all that is something that is kind of getting very standard now. People want their customers to indulge in all these kind of gimmicks. Sure, I mean, it kind of gives it a little bit of a novelty value, but all these things have always been kind of gimmicky to me, and they will remain so. In terms of looks, I think the Virtus is a very smart looking car. There is no unnecessary slashes or any kind of fussy design element. It's very straightforward. The front is very beautiful, very kind of balanced, I would say. The headline design is very nice. The bonnet is absolutely seamless. And then when you go onto the back, the blacked out tail lamp cluster, that gives it a bit of a sporty touch. And then you have that discrete spoiler in the 1.5 GT version, which just kind of enhances the overall stance of the car on the road. We also drove the 1-litre model, and that has 115 odd horsepower and 178 Newton meter. And trust me, I think that is going to sell a lot more for Volkswagen. And for this car, it's actually not too bad. I approached it with a little bit of a reluctance, exactly the way I did the Slavia as well. But it has proven me wrong. I thought that it's going to just lack that energy, but that thing can haul this car in a decent way. You don't really get that sense of excitement from it, of course, but at the same time, for your regular use, for just even going on the highway at a constant speed, it's a fairly decent engine to live with. So overall, the Virtus comes across as a very handsome car. It is brilliant when it comes to the silhouette. It has amazing amount of room on the inside. The quality levels are okay. It's not too bad in here. I really want the camera to go up. The quality is just miserable. And for a car that retails between 15, 18, 20 lakh rupees, having that level of camera quality is just an insult to the car itself. So yes, camera absolutely ridiculous, but the screen itself is very sharp. It displays everything in a very nice way. Comfort in the car is very decent. The seats are properly designed, very beautifully finished, and also have the most optimum amount of cushioning. They're ventilated as well, so that kind of takes the convenience and the comfort factor even higher. And it's a good fun car to drive as well when you're in the mood to go and attack some bends. And to do that, I would urge you to take the 1.5 litre engine. The 1 litre is going to serve you well, but the 1.5 litre is going to make you smile.